It's sprinkling this evening, and I thought I'd come on outside and video the. It's the right side of the back door where you go into our house. Um, I videoed the front side the other day, but anyway, look at these Stella d'Oros. They're just loaded, and they're well established. I planted these years ago. They flank this flower bed, and I'll walk along here and see what all's in here. There's a pot that I just potted. Oh, I think it was last week. With some beautiful. I love these petunias. Aren't they beautiful? They have like a green edge on them. They're just gorgeous. And there's some coleus. And I'm not sure what that spiky flower or weed is there in the grass. It's not weed. In the center. It's not a purple fountain grass, so I'm not sure what it is. And then there's some other petunias over here. This here is a peony tree that blooms very early in the spring, and this is what's left of the blooms, but they are huge blooms. I can't tell you how big they are. They don't last long, but gosh, are they pretty and fragrant, very fragrant. And here's another pot over here that I potted, and I do think that is fountain grass in the back. And some petunias, and I've forgotten. I have several of those, and what are they called? I'll have to look it up. I forgot. Then directly back of that was a beautiful peony bush that I tried to stand them up because they were just, the stalks aren't very strong, but once they bloom, then they become so heavy that they just fall over on the ground. They're just a beautiful plant, but boy, and they don't last near long enough either. But here's a very established hydrangea bush. I'm going to try to get around here so you can get a full view of how monstrous this thing is. And ironically, once you look down here on the bottom, look at that beautiful pink hydrangea. And there's some other pink ones in here, but pink purple, but for the most part, they're going to be, I think, like a blue, purple, or blue. And I think this used to be a totally pink hydrangea. So, and I've added the hydrangea food that you put on there to turn them blue. I'm partial to the blue, but look how big it is. And there's a old wreath I made that really needs, it's huge. That wreath is huge, but it needs revamped. But I'm going to go ahead and walk on in here in this bed. There's some, they're covered up at this. Let me try to move that off there. It's a couple stepping stones that when I get it cleaned off here, I'll show it to you. That my daughter and I made years ago in 4-H. Her spells My Garden, and then I made one back here that's just a flower design. We made those, gosh, forgotten how many years ago it was, but they really have stood up. And normally I take them in during the winter, but I'm not sure I even did that this last winter, and I'm sorry I didn't, because if all that had popped off there, I wouldn't have been very happy with myself. But beautiful. They're just beautiful. I did that with our whole 4-H club. They really enjoyed that. So come across the front here, I have a beautiful kind of gray purple hanging basket, and I really love those colors together. Needs to be deadheaded. Directly behind it, below, is it's a lily, a beautiful white daylily, and it's got some black-eyed Susans growing up in it, which this bed's full of them, and I've got to dig them up and move them somewhere because they just will take over a bed. They are beautiful, but boy. And then there's a dirty, very dirty water bird bath back there and a metal structure. I'm going to plant something back there for maybe a clematis to grow up that. And then those bushy things there toward the back, those are phlox. Oh, beautiful phlox. They will bloom, 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 and just as fragrant. I'll film this again later, but I wanted to show you these Stella d'Oros while they were just in full blooming glory, because they are beautiful. Right here, that is another white daylily. This bed, things all kind of bloom at different times, which is kind of nice to have something to look at all the time. And coming on around here, see this mass of flowers back there behind? That is all the black-eyed Susans. That whole huge mass needs to definitely, I just really like to remove all of them from that bed. This here on the end of this bed is a crepe myrtle. Oh, it's got some dead branches in there, but it's very pretty. If I can keep the bugs from eating it up and the Japanese beetles in the summer. And I'm going to walk on around here. Here's some stones that I put in. I wanted to do pavers like I did the paver sidewalk and a paved area right here. But I haven't got that done yet. And there's another big Stella d'Oro. And yeah, you can see how big those black-eyed Susans are. Huge. This is a viburnum that I just about killed because, and there's a wild rose growing up in it, which I need to trim that out. You can see it right there. And moving on around the house, this is a strawberry bed that I planted in a water trough. It's really for animals. You can buy them at Rural King, but they just are so nice because you don't have to bend over. And there's a nice little strawberry. Delicious. Lots of blooms. So I think I'll have them to enjoy for a while. My grandson likes to eat strawberries, so I really planted this with him in mind. I threw a couple, I think there was 3 zinnias I put in there just to add some different color. And back here I have some tomato plants that I'm going to put in the red mineral tub there as soon as it quits raining. Just seems like it rains here all the time. I'm going to back up here and turn around so we can go over toward the deck area of the house. Okay, so there's the strawberry bed. There's the steps to the deck. And immediately to the right of the steps here in the corner, I planted a Miss Kim this spring, a Miss Kim lilac. And then I potted some petunias and I think that's a king tut grass and some vine in the pot there and set it in that old wash tub. And I'm not finished with this side of the garden yet, but I have several, well, some of them don't look very good, several small, what are those called? Oh, I know. They're just a smaller leaf. Can you see that on there? Boxwood, yeah. It's a very small leaf, and these don't get, maybe they might get 2 to 3 feet tall. I didn't want them so tall that they came up and blocked the view out from the deck. And then going on down here, I have a beautiful, right on the corner of the deck, I have a beautiful maple. I don't remember if that was Autumn Blaze or what it was. I planted it before the deck was built and I was hoping not to lose it, but I can see I've got to do some limb trimming there. So I'll work on that. But I'm glad I didn't lose the tree because it's going to give a lot of shade to the deck. And we've got some huge catalpa trees in the yard. Just old, huge trees. And there's a silver maple, and it is huge. And then I'm going to walk back over here. I'm going to work on landscaping this LP tank. I kept telling my husband, you know, you can depress those. Yeah, I said you can. But that hasn't happened. So anyway, and I have a little windmill there that I want to do something with. But I thought about planting some grasses and stuff along the front of this to kind of hide it. It's certainly not very easy on the eyes. So I thought I would dig put some of those grasses in there. My husband nixed that. He said no. He said there's a gas line there, so I may put up a white gate panel and then plant some not deep-rooted things maybe on this side of the gate just to have something prettier to look at. So just wanted to share all that with you. And oh, there's a pot, and I think, yeah, it has some purple fountain grass and some coleus in it. And then coming around this tree, I have an arbivora in a pot and some more petunias, and then some more petunias in this old wash tub hanging from a hook next to this green ash tree. It was just really slow in growing, but it's finally growing. We lost a huge maple over here to the right in here in the yard, and it's finally given it enough light to grow. And above that, I have a huge fern and a hanging metal hanger off of the limb, and normally I put a flowering plant in there, but I kind of like the fern for a change. It's really pretty, and I think with all the shade there, it's really kind of suited for that location. And maybe when the arbivora, I think that's what that called, gets bigger, I may have to transplant it out of the pot, but right now I like it there. So I'm planning on doing something, at least on this side over here, this side, for the tank, because the gas man still has to be able to get to this side and fill up the tank. So anyway, and I've got to figure out where I want to permanently put the little windmill. I wasn't going to leave it there, but I don't know. So anyway, well, that's I wanted to show you. I'm going to come out here and give you just a overview. It's starting to rain more now. I'm under an umbrella doing this, but I love to do it when there's not any sun out. So that's the deck. It comes out, and I'll probably do more and increase that bed there where the boxwood are. I thought about making like a garden room here if I don't do the paved patio, but we'll see. That's all coming. So there's the trough, and probably hear it raining now. It's starting to pick up, the crepe myrtle, and then coming back around here. Yeah, it's really picked up. I'm glad I picked up the umbrella before I come out. And that'll be pretty if I get something growing up the wire tower back there. It's peaceful just listening to it rain and looking at all the beautiful flowers. You can see in the background, you can see my mulch pile and a rock pile and soil pile, and the very, very dark is a rich, hold on here just a minute, I'll zoom it in. Yeah, that's cow manure compost that's been there for 3 years, I think. It's just like black gold, and I use that to pot with, mix it with some other soil, and it just is amazing how things will grow using that soil. So anyway, that's the little tour of this area here, and going around to the deck from the front, or I guess the side door where the garage slab is, the garage door is. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you all having a blessed day. Bye.